Hey everyone, and welcome back to my craft room. Now I'm featuring card number 3 in my online card class, which is Parisian Beauty, which is new in the 2020 occasions, or what they're calling now the mini catalogue. I have to say that this is my favourite card of the class, and I have to say also that I copied or cased this card from the talented Lisa Harden, who is an American Stampin' Up demonstrator. So if she ever sees this video, thank you very much, Lisa. It's a beautiful card. Anyway, so let's get started. This is actually my second attempt at making this card. I already deleted one video because I mucked it up terribly. Well, not terribly, but I did muck it up. Anyway, so in this class, in this card, you've got a card base, which is the standard size card base with petal pink cardstock. You've got a panel that's cut just right to sit inside. You've got a slightly smaller panel of basic black and a slightly smaller again panel of the beautiful designer series paper. You can see this one's got some lovely accents of the champagne gold with the pool party background with the flowers, and it's got some pretty nice patterns on the other side, but we'll use this side. You've got a piece of vellum which is cut to fit on the front panel there. I really like using vellum. It softens out the images underneath really nice and helps the front images sort of stand out. So it's really nice to use. So I've got a piece of vellum. You've got a Eiffel Tower, die cut Eiffel Tower in silver, which it just goes to show the die set is really lovely. So if you have a die cutting machine, I recommend you get this one as part of the bundle as well if you didn't already. You've got a small piece of the petal pink champagne gold ribbon and a small little piece of petal pink for your sentiment. Okay, so let's get started, and hopefully I can get through this one without making a mistake. Okay, so we're going to layer up some. We're going to put the black down just with some glue and a feeling of deja vu, because I've done this before. So we'll pop that onto our card base. There we go. As you can see, it's quite, for me, it's quite large border around there. Sometimes it feels like it should be bigger. And then we're going to get I'm going to pop that aside for the moment and get our designer series paper and our vellum. So sometimes people have trouble with vellum because if you put glue on there, it's going to show as blodges or splodges on your card base, on behind on your designer series paper. So since we're going to be putting our ribbon down the side here, what I thought we can do, and this will hide the adhesion, we're going to use some double-sided tape, and we're going to sort of position it where our ribbon is eventually going to go. So our ribbon's going to go down the edge there. So I'm going to pop the designer series paper, the double-sided tape on there to attach our vellum to our designer series paper. I hope that makes sense, but you'll see in a second. So I get my vellum, pop some double-sided tape down here, just where the ribbon's going to lie in the eventual card. Pop that on there, so you'll see what I mean in a minute. So you'll notice the vellum is actually more narrow than the designer series paper, so butt it hard up on the left hand side of your designer series paper. That's how it's designed. So you can see there, double-sided tape, you can actually see that through. It looks different to the rest of the vellum, so that's just how it is, and so that's why people have trouble gluing them down, because you do see the glue through them. But as I said, with this one we're going to be covering that with the ribbon, so it's not going to really make any difference. It does flap about here, but I'll show you again. I'm going to put some pieces of glue because our Eiffel Tower is going to sit here, so I can pop some pieces of glue behind there and they will be hidden by the Eiffel Tower as well. Okay, but first of all we'll do our ribbon. This is the part that went terribly wrong on my first effort, so thankfully I deleted that and you guys won't see it. I'm just going to pop some double-sided tape top and bottom. as I say, Lisa, I'm sure Lisa, when she made this card, had this all sorted out. It took me a couple of attempts to work it out. We get our ribbon, line it up with the shadow of the adhesive there. So it's going to go down there like that. And then flip it over so it sticks on the other side. Now this ribbon is a lovely size. You could actually put double-sided tape all the way down and you wouldn't actually see it if you backed it. But I'm just going to pop it there and there because I sort of like the idea of the ribbon floating free a little bit. Okay, there we go. So as I say, it still floats free, our vellum, because it's only attached here. But what I'm going to do is put our Eiffel Tower on it there. So what I can also do, and you might be quite happy for it to flap about like that, that's entirely fine. What I'm going to do is where the Eiffel Tower has its large unbroken areas, I'm just going to pop little dabs of glue so that the vellum stays down. So we're going to have one up here, one in here and one down here, and that should be enough to stop the vellum from flapping about. Okay, it's going to stick now, so I'm just going to keep that in place and flip it up and just pop a little bit of glue here. Yep, that'll come out. A little bit of glue here and a little bit of glue up here, and use those to secure our vellum. And then when the Eiffel Tower is over the top, you're not going to notice those shadows of the adhesive at all, and our vellum will be nice and secure. Okay, so talking about that, I might as well add our Eiffel Tower now. So just tiny bits of glue. It doesn't need to have a lot, and it's very fine, so you don't want a lot of glue sort of splodging out all over the place. And we're going to pop that on top there. Okay, so there we have it. Might just bring in a spare piece of cardstock and firm that down. Okay, cool. So that's stuck to the paper with the thing. So that's the front sort of decorated. So now I'm going to add that to our card, just with a little bit of the black showing behind. So just glue, or you can continue with your double-sided tape if that's what you prefer. Pop that on there. But as we know, our glue is wonderful in the fact that you can wiggle it around before it takes hold and get it into exactly the right spot. Cool. Let's just get rid of that middle panel. So pretty much that is just, you know, I really like that just on its own. It's really, really nice. But we can do more. So we've got our little sentiment layer here. I'm going to just put that. Now I'm going to use black for this one because we do have some black in the card. So I'm going to use You're the Joy of My Life. I think that fits really nicely in that little box. But you could use, if I don't know whether you could use Life. Let's see, Life is a Magnificent Adventure. I've got that locked up. Actually, no, I'll use Life is a Mag because we used that one before. So we'll use Life is a Magnificent Adventure in black. You can tell half the time I'm making these up as I go along. I know what I want in my head, but I don't actually do it until we get to this stage. So Life is a Magnificent Adventure. Just up and down onto our thing there. That's really nice. And I'm going to pop that on dimensionals, and I'm going to pop it just here. There as well. So I'll bring in the dimensionals. You should have these in your pack as well. So I'm using the ends here, so that's good. Somebody's cooking in my kitchen. I can hear them. Okay, so just a couple of little end bits. Always use the ends of your dimensionals. Don't stop just because you've got to the edge. can use them all the way through to the edge. And sometimes actually these end bits, these edge bits, are very handy for, you know, those little odd places where you want to get your dimensionals now and then. Pop one there, one there, and bring that just into there. Cool. The last thing for this one is just a couple of strategically placed bling. So you should have a couple of bling in your pack as well. Just some medium sized ones there. Just going to pop one, put on the vellum here, just like that. And also pop one down here on here with our sentiment as well. There we go. So I think that is, as I say, one of my favourite cards from this time. I might actually glue that, just a touch of glue. The vellum sort of stuck up a bit, so just under where I put those dimensionals, I'm just going to pop some glue and hold it down. So you won't actually see it under the dimensionals, and that'll stop it under the dimensionals, under the rhinestones, and that'll stop it from sticking up like that. Okay, so that's the outside of that one. What do you think of that? I think that's really pretty. So we'll do the inside as well. Where did I put that? So here we've got our panel for the inside. So we've got life is a magnificent adventure. So we'll just put that in there. And this time we might bring the Eiffel Tower image in from the outside. So I've got that blocked up here. Just very pale. Might do it in smoky slate. Wherever I put that. So just very, very faint smoky slate. And only just like in the corner there, just so it peeks in. I'll put that off several times. Actually, do that again. And then third time, I'm just going to pop it here on the edge. There we go. And I really like these little wavy lines, so I'm going to use one of those as well. And I might keep that full strength just off the edge. There we go. I like that. And we'll use follow your heart, and it will take you to incredible places. Hey, how can we? That's an awesome sentiment, that is. We'll just take that one off. So this could be a graduation card, could be something special for someone who's going on a trip to Paris, or maybe someone who's starting off on a new venture, anything like that. I'm going to pop that down in here. There we go. So there's the inside. You really can do whatever you like in there, but I really like that. And I sort of these days like my sentiments off to the side a bit, which is just a bit different. Okay, so that is card number 3 of our online card class for January. I really like that one. I hope you do as well. I really like that, and as I say, thank you to Lisa Harden, who had the original idea, and I've copied that to bring to you for this class. So yeah, so that's card number 3 done. I'll be back shortly with card number 4.